And welcome back to Rob and Elliott tonight. Our Christmas special is in full flow. And next up, we've got probably Northern Ireland's most famous theatrical couple. Mary Jones and Ian McElhinney are here. Welcome.
Good, it's lovely to be here. Very
Good to see you. Yes, it is very festive in here, isn't it? Now, we'll talk about your festivities in just a second. But Ian, you've got to be still the busiest actor in the country. I've just finished watching Say Nothing.
Oh, right, yeah.
And there you are, you played a priest in that as well.
Yeah, that was a surprise thing, just turning up at the very end of that. But I've watched it recently myself, and I think it's a great show.
It is, yeah.
It's a really, really well-made show, and, well, it's powerful stuff.
Definitely. So
Yeah.
how many times over the years have you played a priest?
I couldn't tell you how many now. I mean, the irony of this, I'm the son of a Protestant minister, and I've never played a Protestant minister, but I have played every flipping level of the Catholic hierarchy.
Right up to your Pope. He's played a Pope.
Yes, I
Wow.
played the Pope. In the Tudors, years ago, I played the Pope. So, I might as well join them, I think, at this stage.
Brilliant.
That's funny.
Mary, let's talk about A Christmas Carol. I saw it the other night, and A Christmas Carol set in Belfast. I mean, what a show. I mean, I was totally blown away by this.
I know. It was some journey to get to that point. But it's actually 2 years in the thinking and the making of it. But it was my friend Katie Tumbledy. She rang me 3 days before Christmas. Oh, no, probably about a week before Christmas. She said, "I'm putting the tree up, and every year we put the tree up. We watch them up. It's Christmas Carol." She said, "It's our favourite," and I said, "Oh, we love it here too." And she said, "Why don't you do Christmas Carol set in Belfast?" And I went, "That's a brilliant idea. Victorian Belfast." There wasn't a big difference in Victorian Belfast, Victorian London, architecturally, and characters, poverty, all the same. And I literally put the phone down to her, emailed Jimmy Fay, the artistic director of the Lyric Theatre. I go, "This is a brilliant idea, a Christmas Carol set in Belfast." He texted me back immediately, or emailed me back immediately. He said, "I've just got off a bus in Dublin, and what am I reading? What's in my hand?" He said, "Christmas Carol."
Wow.
I said, "It's got to be done then." But then he had already programmed other things in,
Yes.
and then we started to really kind of do a script. Got Matthew on board, who's very Matthew McElhinney, our son, but very, very creative. So once we got the whole team together, but to get it from the page to the stage was a very long journey, because it's got a big set.
That's one of the most impressive things. The Belfast entries are actually on stage.
Yes.
You were there.
Yes.
I mean, it's amazing.
When I first saw the set on the day of the first day of rehearsal, the set designer brings the model in. I just thought, this is everything I imagined in my head. You are in the entries, aren't you?
You are. I mean,
Amazing.
I mean, ordinarily when you do a Christmas Carol, because it's such a big story and it involves people from that world, you imagine an awful lot of people.
Yeah.
Ideally, you'd love to have an awful lot of people, but theatre is theatre, and the economics of theatre are tight. There's only 8 speaking actors in that show and 2 non-speaking actors, but it feels like it's a very people world.
It does, yeah.
And the way they move the sets and everything else, it's quite magical, actually.
Indeed, and when you talk about the cast, I mean, you've got the who's who of Northern Ireland theatre. You've got Dan Gordon playing the lead in this as well.
I know, but Dad's brilliant. I mean, he's kind of like my go-to actor, if I'm doing anything, Dad. And he keeps you ages before he says yes. And then I have to threaten all sorts of things, like throwing myself in the lagoon and all. Yeah, no, Dad's brilliant. He takes it so seriously, It's not like, I know it's a family show, but I mean, he really
very dark as well.
It's dark. He understands the whole dilemma of Scrooge and the life that he had, the life that he grew up with, and why he turned out the way he does. And then when he redeems himself, he's like a child. He's like reborn. And
Yes.
Dan does all that brilliantly.
And it's great to see Jane Weisner and Marty Maguire, Richard Clements. I mean, it's a fabulous cast.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
it's a strong team. They're all seasoned, and they're very good to watch, and they're a very good unit. They have to be with that particular show, the way it moves. If all the pieces are not in sync, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And they're very much in sync, which is great.
And of course, the use of music and
Yes,
live music as
yeah.
well is very important in it.
Well, we wanted to use music. It was Christmas, and the whole idea of the Christmas Eve and a mass going on back in the cathedral, and you hear all that lovely music. also, what does Christmas say? Like if you're sitting in the streets of Belfast, it's the Salvation Army out in all weathers, with those big tubas.
Yeah.
So the opening, you have the sound, the background of the Salvation Army playing. And when it comes to like the Fezziwig scene, which is the big number, it wasn't a song for the sake of a song. In the book, Fezziwig has a big party and a big dancing sequence. And when it comes to like Rathlin Island, a sea shanty is what keeps people sort of like together as a unit, and it's very kind of common. And of course, it's not going to be in any other production in the entire world. Is the Mummers.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. How and why did they end up in A Christmas Carol?
And I'm sitting one day thinking, right, it has to be so precarious, and it can't be like a ball, and it has to be something that was so particular to us. I remember meeting the Armagh Rhymers years and years ago. I had the best crack with them in America. I got the Mummers. Had to get the Mummers. And people are sitting watching, well, the Mummers doing a Christmas Carol. It's great.
The great thing about the Mummers also is it's kind of like make it up as you go along.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
There's always an element of, if you like, and I don't mean this negatively, amateurism about it,
Yeah.
but it's part of the crack.
Exactly,
I mean, it's a very, very entertaining scene.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, open the door.
Oh, you killed me.
Now, the people watching this now are going to rush to their computers to book tickets, but you can't even get tickets for it.
Well, I've got tickets for my family, which I bought. I think I spent more in the lyric than anybody else. Every time box office sees me coming, I come and book a card. Yeah, it was hard. I didn't get enough people in, but I'm on a waiting list. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
That's during the day. There are tickets in January.
Yes, exactly. You're running right through
And
until
do you
January.
know, people think, oh, Christmas show.
Possibly up to the end of the year, certainly up to Christmas, it's
About
pretty much.
3rd or 4th of January. It's on the 11th of January. And people think, oh, but you don't feel Christmassy or whatever. But this will make you feel good anyway. It's not just about Christmas, it's about that whole thing about giving or about redemption and guilt and love and warmth. And, all the themes are like 350, 60
They're
days
universal
a year.
and they're for any time
themes.
as well. So, it's just a good, heartwarming story.
Yeah.
Ian, you've had a busy year. Have you got time off over Christmas?
I have indeed. I am very much a free man at the moment, which I'm very happy about.
Excellent. Well,
And, we'll see what happens come the new year. At this stage, I have no idea, but I quite like that.
brilliant. Okay, now we loved High Country. That was a big success this year.
Yeah, it went down well, which I'm delighted about. It was novel for me to get out to Australia. We had very briefly been in Australia half a dozen years ago or so. When our son David was over there, we thought we'd better go and surprise him. But that was the only time, and then it was Sydney. So this is my first time properly being there, if you like, and first time in Melbourne, first time working there. Fabulous, fabulous experience, lovely city, amazing countryside. I mean, one of the strongest elements of that show was, it looks amazing. It's an amazing world, it's stunning. Those trees are massive, know. So it was very exciting to do it, and who knows, with a bit of luck, every day, these days, every show, there's always talk, not necessarily fulfillment, but there's always talk of another season. So who knows?
Yes.
We keep our fingers crossed in the hope that might happen. So we don't know.
The other show we love is The Split.
Yes,
that was a big success.
It's coming back.
Really? Yeah.
We did it. I did this in the spring of this year. I can tell you this much without giving anything away. It's not set as it normally is back in London. It's set in Barcelona. There's a reason why we all have to go to Barcelona.
Right.
It's a Christmas special, so it's not a normal 6-parter. It's actually just 2 episodes.
Okay, yeah.
But it'll be going out sometime in the run. I don't know. I haven't seen the dates yet. But sometime in the run up to Christmas, there will be 2 episodes back to back, telling that story. And it's funny because whenever people said to me a year or so ago, "Will it be back?" I'd said, "No, it's finished. We've come to a conclusion. That's it. Forget about it."
Yeah.
Now that it's come back and the way in which it's come back, who knows? The door is open to perhaps there being yet more.
Yes.
But I'm not guaranteeing that because I have no power over that. But the way the story is developing, more might be possible.
Exactly.
So we'll see. I mean, the key thing obviously is if they don't have those 4 women, they can't do it. At the end of the day, it's their story. You know what I mean? The rest of us are, we're there to kind of like fill the picture, but it's very much the four women's story, I think. But people love it. So that's great.
Another character you're never going to get away from is Grandad Joe in Derry Girls. I mean, he's going to follow you around forever now, isn't he?
Yeah, well, that's another one where people said, is it coming back?
Is it?
I don't think it can. I mean, I think, had we not had COVID, I think there would definitely have been another series.
Yeah.
But because we had COVID, that was more or less it. The girls are getting too old now. I mean, they're old enough to be their grannies, for goodness sake.
So they love that.
That's that done. Yeah, they won't blame me for saying that. It won't come back. But in fairness to Lisa, I mean, she just finished it off brilliantly. It was a perfect ending.
Yes.
I thought, it really kind of brought the whole 3 seasons to a very positive conclusion. That last episode, I think, is a brilliant episode.
Yes.
And besides being, as it always is, I mean, the great thing about that series is, yes, it was funny.
Yes.
But it was also heartfelt. It was very affecting, I think.
Yes.
And with that, it was incredibly educational.
Yeah, exactly.
And an awful lot of people said they felt they understood more about Northern Ireland as a consequence of that episode.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Than they'd ever done before. And of course, the other wonderful thing is, for donkey's years, back in the 80s, everything was about the Troubles. The Troubles is there. It's not hidden away. It's there, but it is only ever the backdrop.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're not denying it. You're not running away from it, but it's not interfering with just the warmth and the humanity of the story of these kids growing up and their family that they have to endure. That has to endure them, whichever way you want to look at that.
Exactly. Yes.
So it's a lot of fun.
Brilliant. Do you ever do anything together again?
Yeah, it's not out of the question.
No.
I mean, I suppose this was one where, who knows, I might have been part of the family unit, where
he might have been
directs,
in
she
the
writes,
play.
and I turn up in it.
Yeah.
But,
No, we have done loads of stuff together. No,
I
I wouldn't. No, I just wanted to say something when he was talking about Derry Girls. He was stopped in Australia by people.
There you go.
In the cinema.
I mean, the irony is
And,
now
some
more
of them
people
Asian.
worldwide actually have stopped me about Derry Girls than have about Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, now. Game of Thrones is far enough back that
Yes,
it's beginning to recede. A lot of people seem to remember Derry Girls, so it doesn't matter where you are. Derry Girls, what?
But
We're halfway around the world here,
They recognise them all the time, but the best one I just have to tell you is because we were starting outside Dublin Airport and not so long ago. Maybe it's a few years.
3 years.
3 years ago, and we're just kind of outside the door, and these always getting recognised.
These
and
young lads,
and that was Game of Thrones time.
Yeah.
then. And these young lads walked up and he goes, "I know who you are." And he went, "You're Jerry Adams." I think wrong side of the track. I was in bits.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I don't know where he got that from.
That's brilliant. How did you two meet? Was it like love at first sight, or?
No,
not at
like
all.
each other.
Like each other. Funnily enough, in a theatre company, started by Michael Pointer
Stage 80.
in 1980.
Wow.
It was called Stage 80. It was Desi McAleer, me,
Derek Halligan,
Derek,
Desi
a whole
McAleer.
squad of us. We did a play based on London, Jules Pfeiffer. We did Snoopy. We did shows that were identifiably here. We just
Just
I
good
was
theatre
Michael's,
that we thought is worth doing.
Yeah, worth doing.
Mostly fun theatre.
It was difficult because you were playing in places where, we're trying to do community theatre, where if people did turn up, they go, "What are you doing here?" Bring proms and all that stuff, looking at you suspiciously. I thought Desi McAleer was going to lose the will to live. We played in Divis.
It's very important, It's very important,
Yeah. The people we were doing Dario Fo, and we came up in the truck, and kids were all going, and this wee lad stopped. Desi goes, "Hey, Mother, I know my Michael Truck, we can be on a 40 truck." Desi went, "What?" I said, "If you give him a couple of bob, he'll mind the truck for you." "Where are you from, Desi?" "Hey, Mother, give me a couple of bob here, mind your truck." He did. It was Prince when we came out. You had to give him one money to mind.
Oh,
Because
wow.
it's just hijack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow.
No, during the early stage of that, I thought she was very noisy, surprisingly.
Yeah.
And she thought I was stuck up, surprisingly. So there you go,
Very combination, eh?
And here you are, all these years later,
Aye.
still together, still doing
Yeah,
it.
still doing it. So, yeah. He goes away a lot.
Well,
Which
yeah,
is good.
exactly. Yeah.
It's a good balance, actually. Getting
Yeah.
away is good for both parties, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
So obviously Ian's taking it easy. Do we know what's happening for you next?
Probably, Stones has just been on tour.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's big effort now to get the tour organised again for the following year, for the 25. So we'd be involved in that, and then I've got another play which we did a few years back, 2 years back, called Dear Arabella, which we're very keen to get out again.
Yeah.
So and I've done some work on that. There's always something on this head of mine.
Brilliant. Well, it's been great seeing both of you,
Brilliant,
as
Robin.
always.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
As
Have yourselves
always.
a very Merry Christmas.
Thank you for
Same
being
to
so
you.
supportive of the arts. I would say something nice about
Aw.
you. We all say that, all the actors.
Aw,
Just thank you.
That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you.